Hi everybody, Dave Cochrane, Remax, St. John, New Brunswick, on the east coast of Canada, with your update on real estate, what's been going on in the southern New Brunswick St. John market. Ghosts and goblins and the cobwebs of Halloween are now behind us, and hopefully what the PC government promised when they took office will not go in the closet with other ghosts and goblins. They promised to freeze electricity rates for 3 years, and Energy Minister Craig Leonard says that they will honor the promise no matter what the delays at Point Lepreau. What are they now? Point Lepreau, the nuclear generating station, about $1 billion over in expenses. But anyway, that's good news that they will follow their promise. With colder weather coming and electricity rates going up. Staying with energy, the general manager for New Brunswick of Enbridge Gas, David Charlson, recently had some interesting comments. He said that when Enbridge initially came to New Brunswick, a consumer could save about 60 to 70% using natural gas compared to electricity. And then in 2000 and 2001, the market shifted. Commodity prices went way up. And only 20 to 25% of homeowners who have access to natural gas use it. And the gas and oil back in 2000, 2001 doubled in price, so all of a sudden all this money you could save going to natural gas diminished quite a bit, so it wasn't as attractive. And Charleston says that in a small place like New Brunswick it takes time to grow and get further access to new homes, so we'll see. Good news for interest rates. The Bank of Canada last week decided to keep its policy rate unchanged, which means there probably won't be many rate increases or much of a rate increase till at least the spring, and that's good news. Premier David Alward says he won't force the municipalities to amalgamate. That's going to affect your property taxes, so that's a real estate matter too. That comes on the heels of the discussion about the Finn report that was done in 2008 and talks about taking 350 New Brunswick cities, towns, villages, and service districts and changing them into about 53. Critics say that Alward's ignoring the Finn recommendation, so we'll see what happens. In St. John, there have been 4 water boil orders in the last 2 years. Homeowners aren't happy about it, and it's not going to get any better. And the city's rate for water and sewage was the 3rd highest in the province last year, so they have to do some major overhauls to the water and sewage system. Guess who's going to be paying for it? So water and sewage prices, taxes could go up. Elsewhere in the city, there's about 110 derelict buildings that have been inventoried by city building inspectors and the fire department. What a haven for disaster, City needs to make a case to the province to increase the penalties for falling down buildings. I mean, if you're a landlord and you've got a really nice 4-family, let's say, and next door there's a derelict building, that's not going to do you a lot of good if you try to sell that building down the road. A lot of these tenants or a lot of the landlords are investors, so they're looking to make a profit down the road, sell their buildings. It's not going to happen to the extent they want it to for their prices if there's derelict buildings around them. So something's got to be done about that. A roadmap called Plan SJ outlines where new construction should be focused in the next 25 years, and they say what you've got serviced now, St. John, keep that. Don't expand it, and work inward when you're building things. You don't want to be sprouting out anymore because St. John, per square mileage wise, is a large city in Canada. We know the population, but square mileage wise, it is hard to service sometimes. New housing, commercial construction should be focused in the serviced areas, and we'll see what happens in the next number of years. Out in the Kennebecasis Valley, approximately 1 acre of undeveloped land beside the Fairvale Animal Hospital is going to be sold to the hospital so the animals can have a place to walk and get exercise beyond the hospital's backyard. So that's good news. Some real estate's being sold to help out the animals. Elsewhere, the Parkland Seniors Complex has opened its 3rd building, room for another 60 residents. Quispam-Sis has established a new building bylaw. And I think it's a really good idea. Before they, slammed it through council, they actually went to the developers and talked to them about the new plan. The town has talked to developers and worked out the new bylaw after listening to their comments, so that's good news. Congrats to the students at Rossay Netherwood. I don't know if you heard this or not, but they built a house. And the 3-family Habitat for Humanity home was moved to its permanent location last week in the city, and it'll be a welcome home for 3 needy families, actually. Town of Hampton has concerns about the future of its businesses and real estate. Earlier this year, the town commissioned a survey to deal with business retention and expansion. The survey showed 20% of the business owners surveyed plan to move or sell their businesses in the next 3 years. And the reasons they gave, because of expansion limitations, inadequate facilities, and some are going to retire. So Mayor Ken Shirley says the survey gives the town some areas in which to focus to improve the business climate in Hampton. And kudos to Hampton for putting the survey out to find out what's going on, so it's not something that all of a sudden they wake up one day and find out they're losing businesses. This way they can do something about it, now that they have a little bit of time. Local statistics for October and the year to date, they're down compared to the past few years. Most of the price ranges have fewer sales this past month compared to 2009, but there are some exceptions. Higher end homes showed an increase in sales for the year in the 240 to 260,000 price range, also 350 to 400,000. In the various areas of southern New Brunswick, sales were up slightly in Grand Bay Westfield, Dominion Park, South Bay Martinon, areas of the east side, Kennebecasis Park, and the Kingston Peninsula. Hampton remained the same, and Sussex was down just a little bit. And I sent out a written blog as well in the mail, and also by email. So if you know somebody that may want this in the run of a month, just keep up to date with what's going on around the city and real estate. Homes@davecochrane.com is my email, or on my website, davecochrane.com. By the way, just as I close, if you think no one thinks you're alive, miss a few mortgage payments. We'll talk to you next month.